We incorporated many generic conventions of horror within our own opening sequence, which were inspired by existing media products. The inspiration of our film comes from true events of women who suffer from postpartum psychosis, and from the film Baby Blues, which follows the same subject. The opening scene of Baby Blues shows an over-the-shoulder shot of a mother rocking her baby along with a childlike song being sung. We used this as inspiration for one of our scenes, showing an over-the-shoulder shot of a woman cradling her baby. We thought this was to be effective as the audience are unable to see the character's facial expressions and are only able to hear a song. This then gives it an uneasy feel which fits in with the psychological horror genre. As well as this, we also used inspiration from the BBC drama The Turn of the Screw, as it incorporated many elements of the same subgenre as our horror film, using this idea of children being the main catalyst for the story. The opening sequence to this drama uses many effective sounds such as children laughing, which we also used within our own film, as it builds up an eerie atmosphere and foreshadows events which are to be later revealed. A sort of shaky and blurry effect was used within Turn of the Screw, and so we used this when showing the mother on the swing, as it shows her fragile state of mind through the camera shot. We also incorporated this idea of using a montage of images, as shown in the Turn of the Screw, as it helps to create the right balance of uneasiness towards the character from early on in the film, thus showing memories, voices and different images in the character's mind. The film triangle was also used within our initial ideas, as it opens with a childlike atmosphere and showing toys, etc., which we have also used. Our titles are faded in and out, which then jerk around, which represents our genre of film.
The main characters within our film is a woman who is mentally ill, and this illness is shown through a montage of images which represent her state of mind and breakdown. Throughout the opening sequence, she is wearing clothing of a stereotypical mother, including a dress and cardigan, which are both feminine. The opening sequence features a close-up on the woman smoking and drinking, suggesting signs of stress and anxiety. This shows that the character is stereotypical of many stressed mothers. This may also show a role of single women in the household being made to look after their children. This would appear in our target audience of young adults who understand the subgenre and enjoy psychological horrors.
For the release of our film, we have three options: TV release, cinema release and internet-only release. The internet will have an advantage over all of the above options, as it will allow us to target our audience specifically. This is because our target audience are young adults, and the young generation is using the internet increasingly. However, we think due to our genre of film, we think it would be most appropriate to have a premiere release, as it would attract wide media coverage and other existing media products which incorporate the same genre, which are also released in Hollywood. We would use media such as magazines, television and the internet to effectively advertise our film. This will focus the attention more towards our target audience.
The target audience for our film is 15, content suitable only for 15 years and over. This is for several reasons, such as the genre horror. It would most likely contain strong language as the film goes on. Also, due to the nature of the horror film, it is likely for it to contain violence not suitable for ages under 15 years. We came to this decision as we feel the subject of our film is rather a taboo topic, as we have based our story around true events of mothers actually murdering their children. The violence will be kept to minimum, however still rather shocking, so the horror of the subject is raised. There will also be a large focus on the plot and the character of the story, rather than just portraying the violence, as we have decided to look more into the psychological aspect of things. During the development of our research, we came across a few films we feel are similar to our film, such as Baby Blues. This is also based on true events and also shows the psychological aspects of a mother turning against her own children. Our target audience is both males and females around the ages of 15 and 18. Having a young audience allows us to incorporate many elements which will appeal to that particular age group, such as shock tactics by use of effective sounds and camera angles. By using a montage of images for our opening sequence, we introduce the characters and give a hint of what is to come, which is designed to excite the audience without giving away too much. As well as this, the use of a montage of images creates suspense by showing the unstable state of mind the character is in, which won't confuse the audience but instead build upon the story. Blocking shots are used to create a sense of actually being there and allow the audience to sympathise with the character, which is the woman as the main role. The storyline of our film is different to that of many traditional horror films, and so will offer a different experience for our audience. Our audience feedback gave us some useful points to improve on for the development of our film sequence. The feedback involves things such as adding titles, making the storyline clearer and smoother transitions in between our scenes. We then improved our film by creating effective titles, fading transitions in between the scenes, and filming a small scene at the beginning of our film in order to make the film more understandable. This audience feedback was particularly important as it was from the same age as our target audience.
The construction of our film has enabled us to develop further skills and understandings when using media technologies. We organised our time effectively when filming, which allowed us to film our main shots in one day, with the exception of the first scene, which we then later added in after our audience feedback.
The use of cameras when filming our preliminary task meant that we already had experience when using the equipment, which meant the filming process didn't involve any problems. We used Final Cut to edit our film. Although we had not used this particular editing software before, we soon developed a good understanding of what it involved. For creating our mise en scène, we found that overlapping the images gave a good effect, which represented the character. We also changed the brightness of different scenes to show the contrast in past and present tense, as this will help the audience establish the storyline. As well as Final Cut, we used GarageBand to create our own soundtrack and incidental sounds, which added to the suspense of the film.
Our prelim task was based upon the same genre, making it easy to recognise how much progress we have made and what ideas and skills we've developed during our task within media. We incorporated some of the same horror conventions in our film as we did in our prelim task. Within our storyboard, we established a number of shots which we have presented in our animatic. These acted as guidelines for our filming, which made the process smoother. We used our research of horror conventions in order to get initial ideas to influence our shots, such as pan to create suspense, which matched our genre. As well as this, we used over-the-shoulder shots to show certain elements of the character and to establish aspects of the story. Blocking shots were used to give tense atmosphere, showing the distress of the character. Canted angles were used to give an eerie effect, which coincides with the genre of the film. In comparison to our prelim task, our horror includes many more creative shots and improvements on editing techniques. We have used Final Cut to successfully edit our film, and so has enabled us to create and develop our skills and understanding